India finally deciding to do what it was needed, especially with regard to the terror attacks that we've been facing for far too long, for decades now. But in turn, it appears that the United States of America is claiming credit for a certain mediation for the ceasefire agreement. Prime Minister Modi, in the address to the nation, appears to have denied a certain claim that it was a third country that managed to mediate. Prime Minister Modi making it very clear that it was Pakistan DGMO that literally pleaded for a truce, also adding that Pakistan has been involved in global terror activities and that is for all to see. Let's listen in now to what did the President of the country of USA had to say and what did Prime Minister Modi say as Indian perspective, Indian view with regard to the address to the nation.
On Saturday, my administration helped broker a full and immediate ceasefire, I think a permanent one, between India and Pakistan, ending a dangerous conflict of two nations with lots of nuclear weapons. And we helped also with trade. I said, come on, we're going to do a lot of trade with you guys. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. If you stop it, we're doing trade. If you don't stop it, we're not going to do any trade. People have never really used trade the way I used it, that I can tell you. And all of a sudden they said, I think we're going to stop. And they have. And
भारत की आक्रामक कार्रवाई के बाद पाकिस्तान बचने के रास्ते खोजने लगा। पाकिस्तान दुनिया भर में तनाव कम करने के लिए गुहार लगा रहा था और बुरी तरह पीटने के बाद इसी मजबूरी में 10 मई की दोपहर को पाकिस्तानी सेना ने हमारे डीजीएमओ को संपर्क किया। तब तक हम आतंकवाद के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को बड़े पैमाने पर तबाह कर चुके थे। पाकिस्तान की तरफ से जब ये कहा गया कि उसकी ओर से आगे कोई आतंकी गतिविधि और सैन्य दुस्साहस नहीं दिखाया जाएगा, तो भारत ने भी उस पर विचार किया।
On Saturday, my administration helped broker a full and immediate ceasefire, I think a permanent one, between India and Pakistan, ending a dangerous conflict of two nations with lots of nuclear weapons. And they were going at it hot and heavy, and it was seemingly not going to stop. And I'm very proud to let you know that the leadership of India and Pakistan was unwavering, powerful, but unwavering in both cases, and having these. They really were, from the standpoint of having the strength and the wisdom and fortitude to fully know and to understand the gravity of the situation. And we helped a lot. And we helped also with trade. I said, come on, we're going to do a lot of trade with you guys. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. If you stop it, we're doing trade. If you don't stop it, we're not going to do any trade. People have never really used trade the way I used it, that I can tell you. And all of a sudden they said, I think we're going to stop.
मैं आज विश्व समुदाय को भी कहूंगा, हमारी घोषित नीति रही है, अगर पाकिस्तान से बात होगी तो टेररिज्म पर ही होगी। अगर पाकिस्तान से बात होगी तो पाक ऑक्युपाइड कश्मीर पीओके उस पर ही होगी। भारत का मत एकदम स्पष्ट है। टेरर और टॉक एक साथ नहीं हो सकते। टेरर और ट्रेड एक साथ नहीं चल सकते और पानी और खून भी एक साथ नहीं बह सकता।
So Donald Trump has been quick to claim credit for brokering a ceasefire agreement between India and Pakistan amid the escalation. But also former US Pentagon official Michael Rubin said that it is impolite, untoward for Donald Trump to claim credit for everything, at least at this juncture. Let's listen into Michael Rubin.
Michael Rubin, how are we to see what Donald Trump said a while ago? Is America truly playing the role here of an honest deal maker? Or is this Donald Trump simply not following any process when he claims credit for bringing this conflict to at least a pause at the moment?
Well, the thing to understand about Donald Trump is that he also single-handedly won the Cricket World Cup, he landed on the moon, and he invented the internet. The fact of the matter is Donald Trump is prone to exaggeration, and he's also speaking to the American audience. He shouldn't be taken literally. I am absolutely sure, however, that the United States was scrambling behind the scenes to try to pass messages along and to try to derail any escalation that could lead to unrestricted warfare. So I think it's a little bit untoward, it's impolite, it's navel-gazing for Donald Trump to try to claim credit for everything. It does India a disservice and Pakistan a disservice. The last thing is what I would read into Donald Trump's comments is still a troubling deference to moral equivalency between India and Pakistan in terms of who was the aggressor and who was the victim.
That's a great point you made there, Michael. Is that a worry, though, that Donald Trump, and that's a worry here in New Delhi, that here is an American president not making a distinction between the perpetrators of terror, and not just terror against India, but as Prime Minister Modi enunciated, against the world. This is the same country that housed Osama bin Laden. So does Donald Trump need a lesson, in a sense, in South Asian geopolitics when he tries to equate India and Pakistan, the perpetrator of terror, with the victim of terror here? And why is he
Well,
doing
I think,
it?
first of all, we saw that Donald Trump needs a lesson in South Asia when he said that this conflict had been going on for more than 1,000 years across the border. The fact of the matter is Donald Trump doesn't know the details. He's often speaking from the cuff. The good news is, however, he has a strong relation with Prime Minister Modi, and he also has a team which understands the reality of South Asia much more than the president does. And so then the question is, how do you allow the president of the United States to save face while getting spun up to speed on the situation? We have seen, for example, in American reporting, that in the more than 100 days which Donald Trump has been in office, he has skipped all but 12 of his presidential daily briefs, the daily CIA briefings about world affairs. Perhaps he really does need an education right now.
That's an important mention that has come in from Michael Rubin, especially as a former Pentagon official. Let's go across to our Foreign Affairs editor, Geeta Mohan, joining me for the latest on that. Geeta, you've been tracking all these reactions that are coming in from the USA. Tell me about India's view on this. When the USA is ready to jump in, take credit, we are the ones that have brought in the ceasefire. What is India saying on this?
Well, India has absolutely rejected any of these claims. There are details on the conversations that took place. Sources have told India today that there was a conversation that took place between Vice President Vance and Prime Minister Modi on the 9th. Then another conversation that took place between External Affairs Minister Jaishankar and Secretary of State Rubio on the 8th and 10th. And on the 10th, Rubio also spoke with National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. The 10th conversations happened after he spoke with Pak Army Chief Asim Munir. And the only conversation that he had with Jaishankar was not for an off-ramp or a de-escalation or a mediation to that end. But very specifically, he called to say, I'm not doing an off-ramp conversation with you. This is just to inform you that Asim Munir wants a stop on the firing. So it was Pakistan that requested a halt in the firing, and there was no conversation on trade or, for that matter, the other bogey that has been doing the rounds, nuclear. No conversation on trade or nuclear when it comes to India and the United States of America.
But Geeta, I want to understand this. We see Donald Trump has been very eager to kind of resolve conflicts, end it across the world, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Hamas. But we haven't seen those wars really come to an end. How do you then see this specific mention from Donald Trump?
Well, that's absolutely right. While he had claimed that he would, during his campaigning before he won the elections, that in the first 100 days itself, he'll be solving these problems when it comes to Russia, Ukraine, and Israel, Hamas. In fact, he said it'll just take us 24 hours to solve the war in Russia, Ukraine. But he hasn't managed to do that. In fact, he has been cutting deals, but not moving forward in terms of ending. We'll have to wait and see where that really heads when it comes to ending. But for India, India has been very clear that they did not seek mediation. In the case of Russia, Ukraine, there was a mediation that was sought. They were speaking with the United States of America. In fact, separate conversations between US and Ukraine and US and Russia were taking place in order to find a solution. Again, US, Israel, and then US and representatives who could talk on behalf of Hamas. So they wanted the United States of America involved. India was very clear that India did not want mediation by any country. If anything, the global community was told, and the message was conveyed that if Pakistan stops fire, India will stop fire.
Next.
If not, India will retaliate and retaliate harder. That was the only message that was to be carried out and to be conveyed, and which is what India did, telling the world community, do not intervene. We don't want anybody's help. We're okay. We're doing all right on our own.